Hello everyone, my name is Hemu. In today's we are starting our AWS Certified Advanced Networking Specialist training, and the exam code for this training is ANS C01. Okay, and I will go through with all the details with this particular exam, how you can appear and all, right? So now let me just go through with the things. So in today's class, what I'm going to discuss, so if you will see, I have mentioned day one here, and these are the topics which I'm going to cover in your day one class. So first we will understand what is cloud computing, types of clouds, cloud computing services, what is software as a service, what is platform as a service, what is infrastructure as a service. These are the cloud service model. Most important thing, guys. So we will discuss these models. I will go through with the cloud computing architecture and its important components, characteristic of the cloud computing, or the what are the main benefit or what are the main features available in your cloud environment, why people is basically moving their infrastructure over the cloud. Okay. Advantage of cloud computing or benefits of the cloud computing, what are the disadvantages available in the cloud computing, application hosted in the cloud computing or example of the cloud computing applications, and I will also go through with some virtualization, like what is hypervisor, what is virtualization technology and all. Okay. So these are the topic which I'm going to cover in your today's class. So now let me, before starting this term called what is cloud, let me just go through with one of the analogy. Okay. Let's suppose, guys, there are two-person, maybe let's suppose like there are two students, they are doing their bachelor degree with one of the institute, okay, one of the engineering institute. So they are from the engineering background. Now these two students, what they have decided, they have decided to start a company. Let's suppose they are planning to start a company called ABC. And now this company ABC, what they are, this company is doing, this company has one application. So these two students, so I can say these two engineers, what they have done, they have basically they have started one company called ABC, and they have developed one application. And let's suppose this application is basically used by one of the healthcare organizations, and here they have built this particular application for the healthcare organizations. Okay. Now, guys, tell me one thing. Let's suppose these two-person wants to start this particular application, right? Now generally where we will run this application, are you able to answer this thing? Generally where we used to run these type of applications or programs, what is the device we will generally use to run these applications? Do you guys know what type of devices we use to run the application, to run the programs, to run the softwares? Generally, what is the name of the device? Servers, right? A laptop? No. Tell me one thing. We have a server here, or let's suppose we have a laptop, or we have a system. Now, generally on this server, laptop, system, what are the components available into this particular server or in this particular system? So the main component which are available into this server, the first component is the operating system, right? Maybe you are using Linux operating system, or maybe you are using Windows based OS, right? The second most important component is the CPU, right? Without CPU, we cannot able to do anything. The third component which is available in your server or system is the RAM. Fourth component is the hard drive or the SSD, right? And the fifth component which are available into this device is your network card. These are the main component available into your laptop. Apart from this component, what we also need some type of environment or some type of application where we can run our software, right? Or maybe we also need, let's say we are using Windows, then we also need a license to run this particular Windows operating system. Let's suppose this application is based on Java. If it's a Java based application, then what I need? I needed a Java software as well, right? So these are the components generally available in your system, right? Now, tell me one thing. Let's suppose we have these two engineers, right? I'm just putting the name of engineer. Let's suppose one engineer. So let's say these are the two engineers. Let's say engineer name is X and the second engineer name is Y, right? Now these engineer X and Y wants to run this particular application. So what they have to do? They need to purchase this particular laptop or system, right? Now, what are the options available if they want to purchase a laptop, right? So what they can do, they can directly purchase this particular server from a shop, right? By paying a amount of around 1 lakh. This is the one option they are having, right? Now, see, they have paid this particular 1 lakh of amount to a shop. Let's suppose this is a shop which is basically owned by the Lenovo, and they have purchased this Lenovo server. Now on this server, they have run this particular application. And let's suppose right now, whatever server they have get, let's suppose this server have around 8 CPUs. It has around 32 GB of RAM, and it has around 2 TB of SSD. I am taking these hypothetical numbers, guys. Okay. This is what right now I'm having, or these engineer X and Y they are having, right? So what they have done, they have basically purchased this laptop, and after purchasing this laptop, what they have basically installed the Windows operating system on it, and they have also purchased the license for that, right? And after, when they have make all these arrangements, what they have done, their application is up and running now. Their app is up and it is running. It is ready to use. And right now, as I have mentioned, these two engineers, they have developed this application for healthcare. So let's suppose they got around two customers. They just get two customers here. And now these two customers, they are using their services. Now, just tell me one thing. Let's suppose whatever arrangements they have done for these two customers, actually, let's suppose these two customers stop doing the business with these two persons. They have used their services for 6 months, or maybe for just only for 1 month, and they have found there are a couple of glitch are available into this application. Maybe that application is not able to handle the request which is coming from the customers of these two customers, right? Now what will happen in that case? In that case, whatever money or whatever amount they've invested here, it is a loss, right, for these two peoples. Now let's think about a big scenario. So this is just a basic analogy. Now if we will think about the big scenario where, let's suppose let's suppose they have started a company called ABC. On this ABC company, let's suppose currently they have around 1,000 users who is using their services. And for these 1,000 users, what they have done, they have purchased these two servers. They have purchased these two servers, and also they have purchased one switch. They have purchased one router, and they have purchased one firewall. and they have purchased around 2 internet connection from the internet service provider, and they have, let's suppose, invested around 5 lakh amount in this particular infrastructure. Suddenly what happened, let's suppose their application or whatever website they are hosting, let's suppose this become viral, and instead of getting the request from these 1,000 users, let's suppose they are now getting the request from 1 lakh users. Now what will happen? Are these servers able to handle this many load? Let's suppose these request is only coming for 3 days. There is some type of sale is going on, and let's suppose these many requests they are just expecting just for 3 days. Now guys, what will happen? See, these two servers is able to handle the request coming from 1,000 users, but now they are getting the request from 1 lakh users. Is these two servers or whatever infrastructure that company ABC is having, is this company able to handle these many requests? Guys, what you will think? So is there any type of scalability? No, right? It is not gonna happen. Now, what is the solution? If they want to basically serve the request for 1 lakh users, what they need to do? They have to basically put some extra hardware. They have to put couple of switches, couple of more routers, couple of more firewalls, right? They need to get a more, or they need to get a more ISP connections, right? They need a more bandwidth and all, right? Now, guys, these things is only for 3 days. And let's suppose if they wants to build a infrastructure for 1 lakh users, they need to spend, let's say, 1 crore, or let's say 50 lakh. So guys, to invest this 50 lakh amount in this particular infrastructure is worth? What do you will think? And you are getting the business just for 3 days. Now, when you will build this infrastructure, what will happen? It will need lots of money. It needs your, it needs some manpower, right? Because you need a good network engineers, you need a good servers, you need a good network administrator who can basically manage your infrastructure, right? So this type of solution is not feasible, right? See, so guys, see now, let's suppose, this company ABC, what they have done, let's suppose this company ABC, they have found there are one company called XYZ. There is a one company called XYZ. That company is a cloud service provider, CSP. Means what this company is doing, this company has a data centers. This company has a data center, very big data centers. Now, what they are saying, what this company is saying to this ABC, see, if you want a workload just only for 3 days, you can rent out from us. You can rent out from us. You don't need to invest a 50 lakh of amount. You can just rent out these many resources from us just for 3 days, and after that you can stop using our resources, and you can just pay the amount only for 3 days. That is all about the cloud, guys. So guys, cloud service provider are the companies who has a dedicated data centers. They have a dedicated hardware devices which includes your routers, switches, firewalls, load balancers, very high computing servers where you can launch your servers, you can launch your virtual machines there, and you can run your application. And what you have to do, you have to pay as you go. Means, let's suppose you are just using their resources just only for 3 hours, then pay for 3 hours only. And if you are, see now, for company X ABC, which is just a startup, they don't have even much funds, right? For these kind of companies, if these kind of companies, they want to start the business, they used to approach for the cloud service providers because cloud solution are good. They don't need to invest the money as well, right? And they just needs to pay as you go model, right? Let's suppose you have couple of ideas in your mind, right? And you wants to start your own organization and you don't have enough funds. What you can do? Let's take an example in this way. Let's suppose you have one idea. Let's suppose you have one idea and you want to implement this idea. Okay. And to implement this idea, what you have, you need some type of infrastructure. You need some type of infrastructure, which includes, see, if you want to implement some type of network infrastructure, what? You need a couple of servers, right? Let's suppose you need around 10 servers. These are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. These are the 10 servers we are having. You need these 10 servers, and to basically handle the traffic from these servers, you need let's suppose, 3 switches: switch 1, switch 2, and switch 3. And you have connected all these particular servers with these switches. Right, to perform the load balancing between these servers, you need a load balancer. So let's suppose you have purchased one F5 load balancer. And if you want to prevent the attack into these servers, what you have to do? This is your load balancer. What you need? A firewall, and you need a very good internet connection. So let's say you have a two internet connection, ISP01 and ISP02. So you have to build this type of infrastructure, right? And if you want to planning to build this infrastructure, you have to invest the money. The first thing, it need to invest lots of cost. Second thing, you need engineers who can basically build this particular setup for you and who can manage the setup. Third thing, you need a land or building where you will basically build this particular infrastructure, right? These are the basic things which you needed if you want to build this particular infrastructure. And guys, let me just highlight one point here. This is just an idea. Maybe, see, when anybody used to start the company, he used to have a lots of ideas, right? He is just implementing this one idea, and to implement this one idea, he has to spend around 50 lakh. What if, rather than building this particular infrastructure, what you can do? And guys, see, if you will build this infrastructure, it needs at least 1 month time, right? It needs time as well. And you have, and also, even though you have to put your attention as well whenever this particular development is going on, means it needs your time as well. You have to put your time as well in this particular infrastructure. Let's suppose, what if, what you can do, see, you have idea, okay, and now you want to implement this idea. Let's suppose you want to implement this idea within 2 days, or let's say within 1 day, and you need this type of infrastructure. So what you will do, if you will approach to any type of cloud service providers, what they will do, they will basically give you, and you can able to build this type of infrastructure within 2 days. Within 1 day, you can able to build a similar type of infrastructure over the cloud environment. And you don't need to pay any type of amount upfront. Means you don't need to pay any type of amount for these devices. No, they will manage everything. They will manage everything. You just need to pay the rent as per your use. Let's suppose if your idea is flop, then what happens? You can destroy all your resources and now you don't need to pay anything, right? So guys, see, for a startup type of companies, cloud is a life changing environment, and like lots of startups basically like cloud is very useful for the startup companies, and they can able to build their infrastructure over there easily. Okay, now, so now I hope you will get a some little bit understanding of the cloud, what is all about, right? Now let me just start with the things whatever I have here. So if I'll say what is cloud, so in simple term, cloud is a environment, or cloud is a combination of multiple data centers. What? It is a combination of multiple data centers. And guys, generally in data centers, what we have? In data centers, we have a servers, we have a routers, we have a switches, we have a firewall, right? We have a everything what you needed to run a data center, like servers, routers, firewall, switches, load balancers, right? Power backup, cables, land, so many things are there, right? And your cloud is a combination of multiple data centers. And what you will used to do, they used to offer a service to your users using the internet. Means let's suppose you need a 10 computers, you can build these 10 computers over the cloud environment, and you can access these computers from anywhere because they are accessible over the internet. You just need an internet connection and one one laptop with good internet connection, and you can able to access these particular devices from any location. Okay, now, so if I'll say the term cloud refers to a network or the internet, in other words, we can say that cloud is something which is present at the remote location. Means, see, it's cloud, it's not like that it is in the somewhere, it is placed somewhere, it's a data center, it's a combination of multiple data centers which is spread across the globe. Okay, cloud can provide services over network, like in public network. Means whatever services, let's suppose you need a couple of computers, you can launch these computers over the cloud environment, and you can access these computers through internet from any location. Let's suppose you need to store some data, you can basically store that data over the cloud storage services, and you can basically access this data. You can upload that data, you can download that data, you can delete that data, and from any location. You just need an internet connection. Okay, like we have a wide area network, LAN or VPN type of things. Okay, so nowadays, guys, most of your application, like your emails, your HR management servers, like human resource management servers, like your customer relationship management servers, like your OTT platform like Netflix, Prime Videos, all these particular solutions, they are running over the cloud environment. So like your Prime Video, Netflix, they are running over the AWS cloud. Okay. So these, like Netflix is a very big customer for AWS. Now, what is cloud computing? So like cloud computing is an on-demand delivery of IT resources and application via the internet. Means, now whatever resources is we will launch into these particular cloud here, right? So these resources are available on demand. Means you can able to launch the computers, launch the services over these cloud environment within 5 minutes. And these particular services you can able to access from any remote location. Just you need internet, that's it. So cloud offers the on-demand service, means whenever you need it, you can basically launch that service and you can use it. So guys, generally over the cloud, you will get the servers. You can able to launch the virtual desktop. You can run the softwares. You can run the application. You can store the data using the storage services, everything, right? And you can access these particular cloud services using laptop, mobile phone, right? And using the desktop as well. And you just need an internet connection. So this is the like basic architecture of your cloud computing. Now let's try to understand types of cloud. Or before that, let me just see what I have here. So cloud computing is defined as a use of hosted services such as data storage, servers, databases, networking, and software over the internet. It is on-demand availability, means these type of services we can basically launch on the basis of demand, or what? Computer services like servers, data storage, networking. So these are the like databases, these type of services we can launch over the cloud environment. Generally, your data is stored on the physical server, which are maintained by the cloud provider. So guys, just remember one thing. See, whatever whatever data, whatever service we will launch over these cloud environments, generally we will launch this service over the physical servers. But the management of these servers is taken care by the cloud service provider. Okay, we are not going to manage the backend infrastructure. Okay, so they have a different type of models, and we are going to discuss all these models in some time. Okay, now cloud computing is a model for enabling the convenient on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources such as network, servers, storage, application services that can be rapidly provisioned and released with the minimal management effort or the service provider integration. Means we can able to launch these particular applications, storage, servers or network related services very minimal human interaction we need it for that, and we can easily basically get these particular services up and running over the cloud environments. Cloud computing refers to manipulating, configuring, and accessing the application online. It offers online data storage, infrastructure, and application. Now, let's try to, so the example for the cloud service providers, the very first cloud provider, which is AWS, Amazon Web Services. Then we have a Microsoft Azure. We have a Google Cloud Platform, which is GCP, Oracle, Alibaba. There is a lots of cloud available as well. There is a multiple cloud environment are there, but these are the top clouds, top like public cloud basically available in the market. Let's try to understand types of cloud. So guys, we have divided these particular cloud types using two things, using the deployment model and on the basis of service model. Type of clouds as per the deployment model or as per the service model. Now let's try to understand the type of cloud on the basis of deployment model. So generally we have a four types of cloud as per the deployment model. First one is the public cloud. Then we have a private cloud, we have a hybrid cloud, and we have a community cloud. These are the main four types of cloud as per the deployment model. Okay. And generally these questions basically asked in the interview. So that is the reason we are covering here now. As you see, types of cloud based on the deployment, we have a private, public, hybrid, and community. Community is missing here. And based on the service model, we have a infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Okay, so these are the three types we have on the basis of service model. So if you will see here, In this picture, we have a public cloud, private cloud, hybrid, and community cloud. Okay. So generally we have a 4 types of cloud. There is a one more term, like, see, I have get these reference from multiple websites, right? Somebody, they used to sell a multi cloud as well, right? They have a hybrid cloud and community cloud, right? So multi cloud is the new term. So I will cover that as well if somebody asks what is multi cloud. Okay. Now let's try to understand what is public cloud. So guys, public cloud, these are the cloud service providers or the CSP providers, and the services which is offered by this public cloud we can able to access just using the internet. And the main cloud providers are the Amazon, which is AWS, Google Cloud, which is GCP, we have a IBM, we have a VMware, we have a Azure, which is Microsoft. These are the example of couple of public clouds, and whatever services available into these particular clouds, we can able to access them through the internet. Okay, so these are the public cloud examples. Now, public cloud refers to a computing services offered by the third party providers over the internet. Means these particular cloud providers offers the compute service. Compute service means your resources, your servers, basically where we are running our applications and all. Okay. The public cloud allows systems and services to be easily accessible to the general public over the internet. Public cloud may be less secure because of its openness. So guys, public cloud is less secure. I am not agree with this statement. We can say, like, in public cloud, anyone can basically create the resources, and he can basically, anyone can able to access the resources. Okay, anyone can create the resources for different type of public, and they are accessible over the internet. But there are the ways which we can use to secure the things. Okay, this type of cloud is used usually for business to consumer type interaction. Here the computing resources is owned, governed, and operated by the government or an academic or a business organization. So generally what used to happen, whatever resources or whatever the infrastructure which is provided to you, it is basically maintained or managed by that particular cloud service provider. Basically, so the thing is, the management of all the network infrastructure, like your routers, switches, firewalls, load balancer, is a responsibility of that particular cloud service provider. And what you as a customer, you will just use these services. That's it. Now, the second type of cloud, which is known as private cloud, the private clouds allow system and services to be accessible within an organization. It offers increased security because of its private nature. Means, guys, now let's try to understand the private cloud. See, couple of examples I have put here as well with regards to the public cloud, like Rackspace is also one of the organization. DigitalOcean is also one of the cloud service provider, right? IBM, Google Cloud, Azure, right? These are the couple of other companies which are also comes under the public cloud category as well. Okay. Now in private cloud, guys, as I have mentioned, let's suppose there is a one company called company. Let's take an example of company called Wipro. Now, this company Wipro has one data center. Let's say that data center is available into the Bangalore. Okay. Now, this company Wipro, what they have done, they have built one data centers which is available in Bangalore location. On this data center, they have basically put couple of computing servers here. Now, these are the servers they have basically created, right? Let's suppose these two servers is for the HR. These two servers, let's say they have put for the finance department. Now these two servers they have created for the sales department. Okay, very basic infrastructure they are having. They have a switches here. And they have here router. Then they have here firewall. And basically this firewall have a connection with the internet service provider. Okay, now guys, apart from that, basically behind this router they also have a couple of other switches. Now behind these switches they have the users, so their users available here. Now, and guys, now if you will see here in this particular deployment, all these users and these particular servers is behind the firewall, right? They are not on the public internet. And when these users used to be inside the office in Bangalore office, they are accessing these particular servers. So guys, tell me one thing here. Let's suppose you as a journal user here over the internet, are you able to access this particular services which are running into this server as a journal user? No, it's not possible, right? Because these servers is designed for the private use, for the Wipro employees only, or the Wipro customers only. Maybe let's suppose Wipro has one customer here, customer A. If this customer A wants to access couple of servers, what they will do, they will build a IPsec tunnel. So now because this Wipro has allowed this customer to access their servers over the secure connection, right? So they can able to access. So guys, this type of cloud is known as a private cloud. So guys, if you will see your on-prem data centers, your on-prem DCs, where you are running your application for the internal purpose, or maybe you are running these applications just for your customers only. All these type of cloud environment is known as a private cloud. Now, guys, what is the problem we will be having with this private cloud environment? First of all, in the private cloud environment, you have to spend lots of amount, right? You have to invest lots of cost to build this entire infrastructure, right? You need a very good manpower who can basically maintain all your cloud infrastructure, right? Even though you have to take care the life cycle of your servers. If there's any issue with your devices, with your backend devices, you need to troubleshoot by yourself. You have to make a backup as well for this particular environment. Let's suppose they're due to some issues in the Bangalore location, and now your customers wants to use these services. If you don't have a backup of this particular data centers, then this is also a problem, right? So guys, these type of this is the example of private cloud. And in some cases private cloud is good, but in some cases private cloud is not good. So there are the advantages and there are the disadvantages. Okay, so I hope you understood the difference between the public cloud and the private cloud. So Mahesh, this is just a data center. See, in uh, what is cloud? Cloud is a combination of multiple data centers. Okay, it's a combination of multiple data centers. So it is also same DC. If I'll say the Amazon also have a same data centers. It's not like that Amazon have a dedicated data centers and all. Okay. And guys, see, whenever we will build this particular infrastructure, we need a dedicated internet connection. We can use lease lines, MPLS, all these type of technologies, right? If I show you here AWS DC diagram, AWS data center. Like if I will search this AWS data center in India, images, see, they have a data centers like this. It is also this is a data center, but this data center is managed by the AWS. Okay. They are managed by the AWS itself. You don't need to manage. If there is any fault is happening with the servers, you don't need to take care. AWS will going to take care. Okay. But if it's a private cloud, which is owned by your organization, means if there is any issue is happening, you have to manage the things. You have to troubleshoot the things. Okay. So that's the main difference between. See, you like Amazon has these type of data centers. These are the couple of images available over the internet only. Okay. Here basically they used to put these servers and all. We are accessing the servers from these locations only. Okay. Now, so the example of your private cloud is your internal network, your enterprise network, your corporate network, or your data center, which are available in your on-prem, and you are the one who basically own that particular infrastructure. You are going to manage it, and only your users or your employees is going to access this. Okay. Kumaran, you can write your doubt in the chat. Okay, I'll take. Now, computing resources are deployed for one particular organization means in your data center. Just remember, whatever resources is available, they are just deployed only for your organization. This method is more used for infra business interaction, means this is for the infra business interactions where the computing resources can be governed, owned, and operated by the same organization. Like I have taken the Wipro. The meaning of on-prem, like on-prem DC means on-premise data centers. Okay. Now let's try to understand what is the meaning of hybrid cloud. One question I got: how private cloud differs from building servers in VM on premises? See, whatever VMs you are going to build, you will build for your use only, right? In the private cloud, these VMs you are not going to provide the access of these VMs to anyone else apart from your organization peoples. Okay, so that is the main difference. And nobody, like let's suppose me as a user, I cannot able to log in into your cloud environment and I can build my VMs there, right? That is the main difference between private and public cloud. In public cloud, I can create my account and I can start building, creating my VMs, start launching the application, right? But with regards to private cloud, I am not allowed to log in into your data center servers, and I cannot able to build the VMs over there, and I'm not able to, I am not able to basically run any type of applications over there. Okay. Now the term is which is hybrid cloud. Let me just see before going into this hybrid cloud what I have on my. So if you will see this particular diagram here with regards to private cloud. In private cloud, basically, these are the data centers which is basically owned by a particular organizations, and they are running the service or servers or the infrastructure with with for this particular organization only. Okay. And like for public users, access of the data center is completely blocked. You will manage the data center, legacy system, hardware's application, everything you have to manage in the case of private cloud. But in case of public cloud, your cloud service provider will maintain. Let's suppose in case of public, let's suppose there is a new Windows is launched, or there is a like there are the couple of new services they have launched, right? Then by end of that, they have to manage everything. You don't need to do anything. Okay, this is a responsibility of cloud provider. Now let's take an example of hybrid cloud. So guys, hybrid cloud is a combination of public cloud and the combination of private cloud. When you are using both the cloud environment, that is known as hybrid cloud. Let's try to understand this hybrid cloud. These are just the model, guys. Theoretical information you just needed. Okay, so do not take it very, very serious. Okay. Now, the hybrid cloud is a mixture of public and private cloud. Means, let's suppose I will give very good example for hybrid cloud. Don't worry. However, the critical activities are performed using the private cloud, while the non-critical activities are performed using the public cloud. Okay. Now let's try to understand this particular hybrid cloud properly. Now, guys, anyone have any idea about the three-tier architecture of an web server? Let's suppose, let me take different color now. I will choose this one. Let's suppose there is a company called ABC. Now this company ABC, they have started one of the e-commerce business. They have started one of the e-commerce business. Now, tell me one thing. In this e-commerce business, basically what we have generally three type of servers. We have a web servers. These are your web servers. We have a app servers. And you have a database servers. Okay. Now, let's suppose this company ABC has spin up all these servers over the AWS cloud. All these servers available over the AWS environment. Now, guys, tell me one thing. Let's suppose because they are dealing with some type of e-commerce business, right? Means, so guys, tell me one thing. Whenever you used to purchase a product from Amazon website or the Flipkart website, generally you used to save your credit card details or your debit card details, right? Whenever you will purchase, you will done the transaction and on all these particular details they used to store. So generally these is a some type of critical information which is available over the database servers. And now, because you have hosted this particular thing over the AWS cloud, let's suppose if this AWS cloud can basically log in and get get or they can basically get, they will just log in into the database servers and they can steal all this critical information of the users or whatever users database you are having. They can basically steal all this info, but it is not true, but I'm just taking a hypothetical example. So these type of organization, what they used to do, they used to basically deploy their resources into two places. What they used to do, the critical servers, they will run into the private data centers. So let's suppose in our case, these are the two critical servers, what they will do, we will run these two servers into our private data center. And this data center is managed by us only. And these web servers and app servers, what we will do, we will run over the cloud environments. Let's suppose over the cloud service provider, which is AWS. And we can basically make the connection between your AWS cloud and your private cloud using the, we can use the IPsec VPN, or there is a one more term called direct connect, DX. Do not put more thing in the DX. Just you can think about, we have just connected both AWS environment and your data center by using the MPLS link for your info. Now guys, because we have basically, we are putting all these database servers into our private data centers, and these private data centers where we have our own security postures, we have our firewalls, right? We have all our security appliances who is basically protecting these database servers from any type of attacks. This is known as hybrid cloud environment, where we are running couple of servers over the public cloud and we are running couple of servers over the private cloud. Means we are using both type of cloud. This is known as hybrid cloud environment. This is the example of your hybrid cloud. In hybrid cloud, what we are using private cloud, which is your data centers managed by your company, and we are using public cloud as well, like AWS or Azure, for running our services. So what we used to generally perform in public cloud, we hosted the non-core applications, mean we will host the less critical application like web servers. Web server just have your web code, that's it, right? And in your private cloud, what we will use to do, we will host the most secure servers like your database servers. We will put into our private cloud just for the maintenance purpose. So this is the example of hybrid cloud, guys. Let's see what I have here. So the hybrid cloud is a mixture of public and private cloud. However, the critical activities are performed using the private cloud, while the non-critical activities or applications we will run over the public cloud. This type of cloud can be used for both type of interactions, business to business and business to consumer. This deployment method is called hybrid cloud, as the computing resources are bound together by different clouds basically. No, Sunil, we cannot able to deploy these type of things like one firewall in your cloud and one firewall in your public cloud and one firewall in the private cloud. Okay, this is not feasible because see, I think you know the answer why we cannot able to build this type of setup, because see, management is different, right? In cloud providers, generally we are deploying the VMs. In on-prem, in most of the time we have the hardware appliances. Okay. So what we used to do in that case, let's suppose, see, we will not do these type of HA. Just remember one thing. What we used to do, we will deploy the two firewalls. Let's suppose one Palo Alto firewall over the AWS and one Palo Alto firewall over the cloud, over the on-prem. And what we will basically push the same type of security policies into both the devices to get the same type of security. Okay. So this is what we used to perform generally. Now, let's try to understand the last type of cloud, which is community cloud. The community cloud allows systems and services to be accessible by the group organizations. Computing resources are provided for a community and the organization. Let's try to understand this particular thing. What is community cloud? So in community cloud, what happens? Let's take an example. Let's suppose There are three companies. Let's suppose we have a company called Wipro. We have a second company called SCL. We have a third company called TCS. What they have done, these three companies, they have decided to basically run their servers over one data center. So whatever money, whatever resources, whatever infrastructure they need to build to run this data center, all this amount is basically paid by these three companies, and management of this particular data center is also done by these particular three companies only. Means in your community cloud, there are multiple companies, they will come together and they will build their environment. This is your community cloud basically. Multiple organization that did the investment to start one of the data centers where they will basically run their particular servers, particular infrastructure. Okay. So that is the example of your community cloud. So generally, what used to happen in community cloud, all the hardwares, they generally store on the on-prem environment. Maybe you can basically build this particular data center. Let's suppose there is a Wipro, SCL, and TCS. They are coming together. So what you can do? Maybe you are building this data center at Wipro office, or you can build. You can, or all these three. They will agree and they will take a. They will purchase one land, and over this land they can basically build the data center. It's totally depends on their agreement. Okay. Or they can build at a third party provider. And guys, generally, who can access the services from this particular cloud? Services is only accessible for the organization one engineers, organization two peoples, and organization three people. Means Wipro users can access the services, SCL engineer, SCL employees can access the services, and the TCS employees can access these services, because this data center is owned by these three companies on the basis of shared protocols and shared policies. They can able to build, maybe they can put one firewall. If you heard the name of context, right? They can put one firewall here. They will create three context, for one for Wipro, one for SCL, one for TCS, and they can create a security policies and they can provide the access accordingly. That is known as community cloud. There is a one more example will be there, which is a multi-cloud. In multi-cloud, what used to happen? Let me just tell you. In multi-cloud, let's suppose you wants to run your application. Okay. You wants to run your application. You need around 10 servers to run your application. So what you did, you have purchased 10 servers from AWS. You have rented out 10 servers on AWS cloud, and you have rented out the same 10 servers over the Azure environment as well. Okay. Or maybe you have basically rented out 5 servers from AWS and 5 servers from Azure, and you have hosted your application into both the clouds. This is known as multi-cloud environment, where in that particular cloud environment, you have a servers on more than 2 public clouds. Okay. So this is a multi-cloud environment. Now, difference between different types of clouds. Let's try to understand the main difference. Only the theoretical one we need to know here. So this public cloud, then generally these cloud is hosted. So public cloud is hosted at the service provider end, means If you are using AWS cloud, then this particular environment is hosted by the AWS. It is managed by the AWS and all, right? In private cloud, you have to host your environment at your on-prem data centers. In hybrid cloud, enterprise and the community cloud at the third party place. So table 4. So guys, this particular like public cloud is suitable for large enterprise customers. Private cloud is also suitable for large enterprise customers. Hybrid cloud is suitable for small and mid-sized companies. And community cloud is basically good for finance, health, and legal companies who is dealing with these type of business. Finance related companies, health related companies, and all. Okay. Access. Your public cloud is accessible over the internet. Private cloud we generally use to access over the VPN or the internet, like over the MPLS connections for the security. Hybrid cloud also similar, and the community cloud also similar. VPN or either the MPLS connection. Security. In public cloud, low security because we are ultimately hosting their services over the public environment, means we are hosting our applications over a server which is maintained and managed by some third party company. Private, which is the most secured one. Hybrid is moderate, and community is also secure. Cost. In public cloud, very cheap. In private cloud, very high cost. Hybrid, cost effective, and community also cost effective. Owners. Public cloud is owned by the service provider. Private is owned by the particular enterprise or particular company. Hybrid also particular companies. And the community, it is basically owned by the particular community, all the particular group of companies. Reliability, this is moderate, here very high, medium to high, and very high. Users. Organization, public, like individual, means any organization are the users for public cloud, or individuals can also create their account, create their infrastructure. Private cloud is only used by the business organizations, the company who has owned this particular private cloud, business organizations and community members. Scalability. So guys, in public cloud, we get a very high scalability. Here scalability is limited, in hybrid very high, in community very limited. So these are the couple of features.